The steam from the shower still clung to my skin as I stepped into the dimly lit massage room. Soft music drifted through the air, mingling with the scent of lavender and eucalyptus. David stood by the table, his presence calm yet somehow electric, his hands already reaching for the warmed oil I'd come here to unwind after a brutal week of board meetings and negotiations. But the moment our eyes met, I felt something else entirely. Anticipation coiling low in my stomach. Just relax. He murmured, his voice deep and soothing, as I settled onto the table. The first touch of his hands against my shoulders sent an unexpected shiver through me. His fingers were strong, skilled, finding every knot of tension with precision. But there was something more in his touch, a lingering quality that made my breath catch. This wasn't going to be just another massage before we dive in. Please take a quick moment to like this video and hit subscribe. It's completely free and helps the channel grow tremendously. Now let's continue. His hands moved down my spine with deliberate care, each stroke drawing out a soft exhale from my lips. The towel draped across my hips felt suddenly thin, inadequate when his fingers grazed. The small of my back, I couldn't suppress the slight arch that followed. He noticed. I could tell by the subtle pause the way his breathing shifted. You carry a lot of tension here. He said, his thumbs working into the muscles along my lower back. The pressure was perfect, professional, yet somehow intimate. I found myself pressing back against his touch, craving more. It's been a long week. I managed my voice coming out breathier than intended. His hands traveled lower, working the yaw muscles of my thighs. Each movement sent warmth spreading through me, pooling in places a massage shouldn't reach. When he asked me to turn over, I hesitated for just a moment, aware of how my body was responding to him. Face up now, I watched him through half-lidded eyes as he worked. The low light cast shadows across his features, highlighting the concentration in his expression. His hands moved up my legs, professional but lingering. When he reached my inner thighs, I had to bite my lip to keep from making a sound. Is the pressure okay? He asked, his voice rougher than before. Perfect. I whispered, and we both knew I wasn't just talking about the massage. The air between us had shifted, charged with unspoken desire. His hands moved higher, and I let my legs part slightly, an invitation he couldn't miss. When his fingers brushed against the edge of the towel, we both froze. Olivia, he said softly, my name, a question on his lips. I reached up my hand, finding his wrist. Don't stop. That was all the permission he needed. The towel slipped away and his hands found me, properly drawing out a gasp I couldn't contain. His touch was different now, still skilled but hungry, exploratory. I arched into him, my hands gripping the edges of the table as he worked magic with his fingers. You're beautiful, he murmured, leaning closer. His breath was warm against my skin, and when his lips found my neck, I melted completely. My hands found their way too, his shirt tugging him closer. He obliged, his mouth trailing down my throat across my collarbone. Every kiss sent sparks through me, building the heat that had been simmering since he first touched me. I want you. I breathed against his ear. Past the point of professional boundaries or propriety. He pulled back just enough to look at me, his eyes dark with desire. Are you sure? Instead of answering, I sat up, pulling him into a kiss that left no room for doubt. His hands tangled in my hair as our mouths moved together, all pretense of a massage forgotten. I could taste the mint on his breath, feel the barely controlled restraint in the way he held me. We moved together with increasing urgency. Clothes disappeared, his shirt, his pants, until there was nothing between us but heat and need. When he lifted me onto the table properly, I wrapped my legs around him, pulling him closer. The first moment of connection drew groans from both of us. He moved slowly at first letting me adjust, but I was beyond patience. I pulled him deeper, urging him on with my hands, my hips, my breathless encouragement. Please. I gasped, and he understood. The rhythm we found was perfect, deep, steady, building toward something explosive. His hands gripped my hips as he moved, and I threw my head back, lost in the sensation. the table creaked beneath us, but neither of us cared. "Look at me," he commanded softly, and I did, our eyes locking as the pleasure built between us. The intensity in his gaze pushed me over the edge. My body tensed, waves of pleasure crashing through me as I cried out his name. He followed moments later, his body shuddering against mine as we rode out the storm together. We stayed there for long moments after catching our breath, still intertwined. His forehead rested against mine, both of us reluctant to break the spell. I started then, trailed off, unable to find adequate words. Incredible. He finished, pressing a soft kiss to my lips as we slowly disentangled ourselves. Reality began to creep back in. But when he handed me a robe and our eyes met again, I saw the same thought reflected in his gaze. This was just the beginning. "Same time next week?" I asked, with a smile, already knowing the answer. "I'll clear my schedule," he replied, his grin matching mine. Later, as I walked out of the spa, my body still humming with satisfaction, I thought about the stressed executive who had walked in just hours before. She seemed like a different person entirely. Maybe regular massages weren't such a bad idea after all. The drive home was a blur of sensation memories, his hands on my skin, the weight of his body, the way he'd looked at me like I was the only thing in the world. My phone buzzed with a text as I pulled into my driveway, already counting down the days until next week. "Sweet dreams, Olivia, David." I smiled, typing back quickly. "Who says we have to wait that long?" His response came immediately. "My place tomorrow night? I'll bring the oil." I replied, already anticipating what was to come. As I entered my house, I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror. My cheeks were still flushed, my hair deliciously mussed, and there was a glow about me that hadn't been there this morning. Who knew that a simple massage appointment could turn into something so life-changing? But it hadn't been simple at all. From the moment I'd walked into that room, something had shifted. The air had been different, charged with possibility. And David, he'd known exactly how to read my body, how to transform professional touch into something far more intimate. I poured myself a glass of wine and settled onto my couch, my body still sensitive from his attention. Every brush of fabric against my skin reminded me of his hands, his mouth, the way he'd made me feel utterly desired and completely satisfied. My phone buzzed again. A photo this time. David's hands. Those incredible, skilled hands that had undone me so thoroughly. The message read, "Can't stop thinking about touching you." I set my wine aside and typed back, "Can't stop thinking about being touched." The anticipation was already building. For tomorrow night. This time we wouldn't have to pretend it was anything other than what it was. Pure explosive chemistry that demanded to be explored. I thought back to all the massages I'd had over the years, professional and clinical designed, to work out physical kinks and nothing more. How had I never realized what was missing? That spark of connection, the thrill of desire mixing with the pleasure of touch. My phone rang and I smiled, seeing David's name. Couldn't wait until tomorrow? I answered, my voice still carrying that satisfied purr. "Needed to hear your voice." He admitted, "Today was unexpected." "The best things usually are," I replied, stretching out on the couch. "I came in for a massage and left with so much more." "Olivia," he said, his voice dropping to that tone that made my stomach flutter. "I haven't been able to focus on anything since you left. My last 2 clients probably got terrible massages because all I could think about was you." I laughed. The sound rich and genuine. Should I feel guilty about that? Never, but maybe you should make it up to them by keeping me occupied tomorrow night, for the sake of my future clients, of course. How philanthropic of me. I teased. "What did you have in mind?" "I thought we could start with dinner. There's this little Italian place near my apartment. Intimate, candlelit, perfect for continuing what we started. And after dinner?" His pause was delicious, full of promise. "I have a massage table at home. Thought maybe you'd like to experience what it's like from the other side." My breath caught. "You want to let me practice my technique? Among other things?" he said, and I could hear the smile in his voice. "I'm an excellent teacher," I'm a quick learner. I countered already, imagining running my hands over his body, returning the pleasure he'd given me. We talked for another hour, the conversation flowing easily between flirtation and genuine connection. By the time we hung up, I knew this was more than just physical attraction. There was something real here, something worth exploring. That night I dreamed of strong hands and soft lips, of whispered words and tangled sheets. I woke with his name on my lips, and an ache that had nothing to do with the tension he'd worked out of my muscles. The next day dragged endlessly. Every meeting, every phone call, every email seemed designed to keep me from the clock striking 6. But finally, the workday ended. I took extra care getting ready, choosing a dress that was elegant, but easy to remove lingerie that would make his eyes darken with want. As I applied my lipstick, I smiled at my reflection. The stressed, overworked executive was gone, replaced by a woman who knew exactly what she wanted, and was about to get it. The drive to his place was torture, anticipation building with every mile. When I finally knocked on his door, my heart was racing. He opened it wearing dark jeans and a white button-down sleeves rolled up to reveal those forearms I'd admired. His smile was warm, welcoming, and just a little wicked. "You came?" he said, stepping aside to let me in. "Did you doubt I would?" "Never. But I've been watching the clock all day, wondering if time could actually move backward." His apartment was exactly what I'd expected. Warm, comfortable, with that same soothing energy he carried. Candles flickered on the dining table, and something delicious simmered on the stove. A man who can cook, too. I observed, moving closer. "What other hidden talents do you have?" He caught my hand, pulling me against him. "I think you discovered a few yesterday." But I'm thorough. I like to explore things extensively." His eyes darkened at my words, but he kept control, pressing a kiss to my temple. "Dinner first. You're going to need your energy." The meal was perfect. Pasta with homemade sauce, good wine conversation that ranged from playful to profound. But underneath it all was the tension, the awareness of what was coming, when he finally led me to his bedroom where his personal massage table waited. My pulse quickened. The room was lit by candles, soft music playing, but the atmosphere was completely different from the spa. This was intimate, personal, charged with, "Promise? Your turn," I said, reaching for his shirt buttons. He caught my hands, kissing each palm before releasing them. "Ladies first, I want to do this properly." This time, when his hands found my skin, there was no pretense. Every touch was deliberate, designed to build pleasure rather than relieve tension. He took his time, learning my body's responses, discovering what made me gasp, what made me arch, what made me beg. When I couldn't take any more teasing, I pulled him down for a kiss that quickly spiraled out of control. We moved together with the urgency of new lovers and the confidence of perfect compatibility. Much later, we lay tangled in his sheets, both of us thoroughly satisfied and deliciously exhausted. "So," I said, tracing patterns on his chest. "Same time next week?" He laughed, the sound rumbling through his chest. "How about same time tomorrow, and the day after that?" "I could be persuaded," I said, tilting my face up for another kiss. "But I might need lots of convincing." "Challenge accepted," he murmured against my lips as I drifted off to sleep in his arms. I thought about how a simple massage had changed everything. Sometimes the best surprises come when you're just trying to relax. And sometimes a skilled pair of hands can do more than work out tension. They can open up a whole new world of possibility. The next morning, I woke to find David watching me, his expression soft with something that looked a lot like wonder. "What?" I asked, suddenly self-conscious, just thinking about how glad I am you booked that appointment. Best decision I've made in years. I agreed, stretching against him. "Though I should probably warn you," he said, his hand sliding down my side. "I might not be the most professional massage therapist anymore. I seem to have developed a serious bias toward one particular client." "Oh, really? Should I be jealous?" "Definitely, she's gorgeous, brilliant, and makes these incredible sounds when I touch her just right here." I gasped as his fingers found exactly the right spot, and then coherent thought became impossible for quite some time. Later, over breakfast, we made plans. Real plans beyond just when we'd see each other next. Dinner dates, weekend trips, meeting each other's friends. What had started as a spark of attraction had ignited into something neither of us had expected, but both of us wanted to explore. You know. I said, stealing a piece of bacon from his plate. I'm going to have to find a new spa. Can't have my boyfriend giving me massages. There's no way I could keep things professional. Boyfriend? He repeated, his smile brilliant. Unless you object. Not even slightly. Though I insist on keeping you as a private client, house calls only. I think I can live with that arrangement. I agreed, sealing the deal with a kiss that tasted like coffee and promise, and the beginning of something beautiful. A week later, I found myself back at the spa, not for a massage, but to meet a friend for lunch at their restaurant. As I walked past the massage rooms, I smiled, remembering that first electric touch, the moment when everything changed. Olivia? My friend Sarah waved from a table. You look amazing. What's your secret? I settled into my chair, unable to keep the smile from my face. Let's just say I've discovered the incredible therapeutic benefits of regular massage. Oh, I need to book an appointment then. You're literally glowing. Actually, I said, thinking of David and all our plans for the future. I know someone who gives private sessions, but I should warn you, his techniques are very hands-on. Sounds perfect. Sarah laughed. Sign me up. I shook my head, still smiling. Sorry, but this particular therapist is exclusively mine, permanently off the market. As I sat there surrounded by the familiar scents of the spa, I thought about how much had changed in such a short time. Sometimes life surprises you in the most unexpected ways. Sometimes a simple decision, like booking a massage, can lead to everything you didn't even know you were looking for. My phone buzzed with a text from David. Thinking about you, can't wait for tonight. I typed back quickly. Bring the massage oil, I want to practice my technique. His response made me blush. I'll bring extra planning to be very thorough with my instruction. Sarah raised an eyebrow at my expression. Okay, now I really need to know what's going on with you. So I told her, not all the details of course, but enough about taking a chance, about unexpected connections, about finding love in the most surprising places. A massage therapist? She said when I finished. That's so not your usual type. I know, I agreed. But maybe that's exactly why it works. That evening, as I prepared for another night with David, I reflected on how much had changed. The stress that had driven me to book that first massage was gone, replaced by an excitement for life I hadn't felt in years. My work was the same, but my approach to it had shifted. I was more balanced, more present, more alive, all because of a pair of skilled hands and the man they belonged to. Doorbell rang and I smiled, knowing what and who was waiting on the other side. As I went to answer it, I thought about that first tentative arch of my back, that first electric touch, that moment when professional became personal. Sometimes, the best things in life start with a simple decision to take care of yourself. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, that decision leads to so much more than you ever imagined possible. I opened the door to find David standing there, massage oil. In one hand, flowers in the other, and that smile that still made my knees weak. Ready for your lesson? He asked. Stepping inside. Always. I replied, pulling him in for a kiss. Though I should warn you, I'm a very hands-on learner. I'm counting on it. He murmured against my lips as he led me toward the bedroom. I marveled at how a simple massage had transformed into this, into love, into passion, into a future I hadn't even known I wanted until it was right there in front of me. Some people find love in unexpected places, through friends at work, online dating. But me? I found it on a massage table in the skilled hands of a man who knew how to touch not just my body, but my soul, and that I thought, as David's hands began working their magic once again, was the best kind of surprise. Have you ever walked into a situation expecting one thing and walked out with something completely different? Sometimes the best surprises come when we're not looking for them at all. Tell me in the comments about a time when a simple decision changed your life in ways you never expected. I read every comment and I'd love to hear your stories before you go. Don't forget to like this video and hit subscribe. It's completely free and make sure you never miss the next story. Turn on the notification bell so you're the first to know when a new video drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.